MotoGP 09/010, a motorcycle racing game. And do you know where I spent most of my time in video games racing motorcycles? Grand Theft Auto Vice City, primarily through the shopping mall. Here's a chance to get the motorcycle out of the shopping mall onto the racetrack, which is difficult for me because I usually go for the cars. It's easier when trying to run into a tank or through crowds of people. Bikes take less damage. So what I'm getting at is I play a lot of driving games. They're one of my favorite genres, but I usually drive cars, or at least stolen tanks. Bikes are very unforgiving, and driving a motorcycle is completely different than driving a car. It's like when you're attacking a village with a giant robot compared to a giant monster. Robots don't have feelings. Monsters do. And when you attack things, they do it with more passion. Robots are just cold and heartless, and they have laser beams. Now, what button whips the guy next to me with a chain or knocks him off his bike? I've got to come at this review from the perspective that it's a bit more interesting to talk about robots and monsters than MotoGP 09/10, because this game is so average. It's not great, but it's not god-awful either. I've played some terrible motorcycle games, like that awful Ducati one, where the bikes felt like spaceships on ice. But this game is a straight-up arcade-style racer. That does have an interesting career mode where you hire PR managers and engineers who get you sponsorships and upgrade your bike, kind of like Super Hang-On, a little bit. There's a decent variety of tracks around the world, and most of the races, as far as I can tell, take 3 laps. Seems a bit short. Now, I know I'm not very good at MotoGP, but what I like is the challenge in trying to race on a track that I'm familiar with, like Mugello or Motegi, with a motorcycle, because it's so different. I have to get it through my head I'm not power sliding a skyline around a corner, because if you get your bike in the grass, you're done. It doesn't transform and wrap around your body like a cyclone. You actually just fall off the thing. Or at least you slow down to a crawl, which sucks. I should have named my guy Scott Bernard. Instead of a Honda, he drives a Cyclone and an Alpha Fighter. As far as I'm concerned, I'm driving a rally car. It's just smaller. The gameplay is absolutely smooth, and it does look nice. I don't have a problem with it visually, but I imagine that some people will expect a bit more. Games like Need for Speed Shift do look better, and they sound better too. I like the weather effects in this one, and like I said, it is important that the game runs smoothly, which it does. But the environments are missing something. Leprechauns, perhaps. There's a rainbow in the background that's there the entire race. If you've ever actually looked at a rainbow, they don't hang around that long. That's why you gotta get the pot of gold fast. And then you blow that money on an afterburner arcade machine. Even though this feels like an arcade racer, I do like the challenge in trying to drive bikes, because I'm used to driving cars in games. It's far more technical. You can use your front brakes, your rear brakes when you're accelerating. You can hide behind your wind screen, which means you can't turn worth a damn. And all of this makes for a whole lot of complexity in a driving game, and potentially a lot of fun. I like the way it's laid out as well. You have a career mode, which is what we're watching here as I'm starting off with the 125cc's, the smallest bikes. There's also an arcade mode and time trials. We're watching the Xbox 360 version of this game, which is published by Capcom. Why is Bionic Commando not in this? Bionic arm, grabbing bikes in front of me, and throwing them. You can do research and modify a lot of things on your bike, but can you upgrade the bike hose? The engineer, Javier, wants to do research on the one on the left. Did he just flip me off? They need to combine this game with Road Rash. I like the shark helmet, but I would have preferred to design my own. You can't do that in this game. Like a giant squid with tentacles flying behind the bike. Wind squid, perhaps. It's missing a few things, like complete customization of logos and bikes and stuff. And this guy has no shame. Come on! At least put the Old English 800 logo on his butt or something. I can't speak for die-hard motorcycle racing fans, but for those of us who enjoy car games, it's a different game.
I prefer the car games, but I do like the challenge of trying a track that I'm familiar with and completely screwing it all to hell. If only this game had explosions.